Does anybody on the panel think that she's a whore?
Yes, I do.
So how?
Because the way she dressed, the
Okay,
way
so,
she moves,
so
the way
everybody
she
who dressed like that
operates.
is
To me, she's a whore.
per King Talk Tuesday's approval. We're going on the record say from now on, from here on out, the women that dress like that are whores.
Not
Yeah,
all.
I have no
I
problem.
think women who
No,
dress provocative are
I
whores.
have no problem with that, Willie. I call them.
I'm just trying to make sure
whores.
that's understood, so that we have a.
So, Don, why are you defending it so much? Are you okay with this?
Am I okay with what? Is women dressed that way?
Yes.
I'm not nobody who knows the Bible back and forth, but I know much. I know enough about the Bible to know that this is all foul behavior if you're preaching the Bible to people. You got a girl with a BBL speaking before the congregation. That's one thing. I've talked about this before. Then you have
the thing is that he's a soundbite preacher.
Yes.
Right. We've seen him go viral for saying things that we wouldn't expect for a preacher to even be in the pulpit to talk about. So with him understanding that, with us all understanding now that clout is a hell of a drug. It's a very addictive drug, especially now. So what we're seeing from him clearly is that he's a straight up soundbite preacher. So he's just out there to say things that he know is going to go viral. That's going to bring eyes to
him, man. We're looking at the wrong part.
Might name my album that, Viz. Thanks.
We're looking at the wrong part of this.
Cloud is a hell of a drug.
It's not even about.
Hey, that's what you should name your first
LP
album.
coming soon.
Yeah, that should be your first album.
We gotta let.
It's not even about. It's not even about Jamal Bryant. We're looking at this from the wrong.
Let me get it. Y'all been talking for a long goddamn time.
All this is doing is exposing.
Yeah, I need to say something though.
Everybody got the wrong idea about people in church and people in the pulpit. And the people that's mad is the people that's supposed to be devout Christians and church people that is trying to protect the innocence of the church. And what's happening is all of the truth is starting to leak from the cracks and everybody's shocked. You know who ain't shocked? The people who know that all of that shit was a facade in the first place. Not necessarily the word, but this position that people take in church about being holier than thou. And that because they're anointed, they absolve themselves from temptation and sin. People in the church don't like that all of this stuff is coming out. Social media is put, just like NY said, footage is coming out. They want to protect, they want to hide that. They've been doing it for hundreds of years. But because it's getting out that, hey, look, these people in the church is just like you and me. They're not immoral. They're not supreme. They're not super. They just like everybody else, and they do the same bullshit, and nobody likes it. And Jamal recognizes it, and he's just going to be a pastor that's going to live authentically. And there's a lot of pastors that want to do that, but they can't. They got to keep putting on a facade because they got a status, they got a title, and the people would rather you put on a fake facade than to be real behind a pulpit like a human being. That's what it is. That's what this is all about.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Hank.
It's just a biblical
that's
mental
just crazy. Yeah, I don't. We just got to know what we're dealing with. That dude is. I think he's gay. The motherfucker said something to Cam, calling that man's legs nice and shit. That's some gay shit I've heard in my goddamn life. His wife got a BBL. We forget about him doing that for. Look, she's trying to sexualize herself, and whether he want to sit there and say. He tried to save face. Yeah, I bought the dress. No, you didn't buy the dress. But she told you what she's going to get and what she's going to wear. And you had no choice but to like it. So now you try to save face.
No, he paid for it. He ain't buy it. He paid for it.
Oh, he said he bought the dress.
No, he's lying. He just paid for it.
No, he paid for it.
No, hey,
It doesn't matter. It shouldn't have been bought, paid for, rented, whatever the case. Look, I don't give it. If you're a married woman, why are you dressing like this? You doing that because you trying to get the attention of other men. That's what you're doing. Your husband already shows he pay attention to you, but you trying to get attention of other men. That's my opinion about it.
Do you?
He said
for the man, he's clearly a little, got a little sweetness in him. So
Oh, yeah, well,
Maybe she need to
she's
be
trying to get a
advertising for another man.
Maybe she's trying to get a third party man in there. I don't know.
He
I don't
said
know.
it. You ain't hear when he said, "If I want other men to look at my wife and be like, damn, I want that."
That's crazy.
I think
Yeah,
he
he's a
did
cut
by
for sure.
I think he
Yeah,
said,
he's definitely a cut.
how did you snag
How
that?
did you snag that?
Yeah.
He wants
Yeah,
that.
look,
You
all of
got-
that stuff is crazy to me. Like I said, he's in the line. He's in the perfect city for all that shit to go down. So it's all fair and love and war. He's okay with that shit. You know what I'm saying? He's for some Cloud, you got mad. I guess somebody called his wife. No, his wife is a whore, and she has no problem with being that. You look at the deacons in the back when he had that speech. Look. Let me finish, man. Look at them deacons in the back when he was giving his goddamn speech. They was all looking at her ass. You think they was worried about what the fuck he was saying? They didn't give a shit about what he said. They just enjoying the backside of her ass. He came down there and showed off. Now she want to dress modest on the day he had that sermon. You wasn't dressing modest then. Keep wearing your whole ass outfits, showing off your BBL. That's all right. You know, you for the streets. He just got a woman that's for the streets, and he's okay with that. Why? Because he likes men looking at his woman. He likes other men, so he can bring them into the fold. Maybe they can all be in a bedroom together, and they can have a lot of fun, Diddy style. I'll leave it there.
So I ain't never in my life seen a BBL chick become modest after she got one. It's almost like
does anybody on the panel think that she's a whore?
Yes, I do.
So how?
Because the way she dressed. The
Okay,
way
so
she moves.
So everybody who dressed like that is
me, she's a whore.
Per King Talk Tuesday's approval, we're going on the record say from now on, from here on out, the women that dress like that are whores.
Not all.
I have no problem.
I think women who dress provocative are whores.
I have no problem with that. Really? I called him.
I'm just trying to make sure that's understood, so that we have a.
So, why are you defending it so much? Are you okay with this?
Am I okay with what? This woman dressed that way?
Yes.
Yeah, it's irrelevant whether I'm okay or not. It doesn't make me lose sleep.
I need to know from what the mindset is.
But my issue is that I think it's dangerous.
Are you okay with it? So you say, yeah, you okay with it, right?
I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong to push the narrative that women who wear that outfit is automatically by default a whore.
Stop avoiding my goddamn question. Yes or no? Do you think it's okay for her to dress like that? You say
yes.
Yes. Okay, cool.
One thing about it, as I elaborate, is I have a firm boundary on how men operate with their wives within their marriage. If the husband says I'm okay with it and this is how I want to move, who the hell am I to invade on how he operate within his household with his wife?
You're not in his household.
The only way it becomes a problem for me.
We have every right to judge, though, don't we, Don?
You do, but make sense about it. So whenever you say that somebody's wife is a whore, just because they're wearing that, then we got to say all women who wear that type of attire is.
But Darwin, this is the question right here. How do you feel about Adam 22?
Damn, hold on, bro. The problem with it is you cannot substantiate whether or not she is actually a whore by making that statement, and it just makes it illogical. And
how
if
do you feel about
guys on King Talk, we got to at least address that. Like, wouldn't y'all want to address that?
Hey, Dar, just so you know, it's not King Talk no more. It's called the Culture Code.
Well, that's even worse.
Answer your question, Darwin, since you are okay with that and that we're not allowed to judge because of that. We're also not only dressing like that, but the way she's moving. That's part of the problem. Why do you need to get a BBL as a pastor's wife?
She didn't get a BBL. That's a rumor.
Okay.
It's a rumor. See, that's what I'm saying. So if we making these statements, it's okay to say it's inappropriate for her to dress like that. But to say that she's been in the bed with multiple people without confirmation, that's like a defamation. I wouldn't wish that on nobody.
Well, we can present it as our opinion it's not defamation unless we present it as fact.
That's what I'm saying. So whenever you have an opinion saying that, okay, she's a whore, and I ask you how, and you say just because the way she's dressed.
Darwin, you don't have to. You don't.
Your attire don't determine your promiscuity or whatever.
So Darwin, as men.
So hold on. I know what it is. I know what it is.
You get what I'm saying?
So Willie, you remember what you said earlier?
I don't know, bro.
Willie, you remember what you said earlier? You said certain men don't get women.
You giving who pushback?
So Darwin's one of these guys who don't get women. So he think, oh, I think it's because he's accept that bullshit.
We can't say he don't get women. He got 15 baby mamas.
I'm talking about Darwin.
Darwin.
That's another stupid statement. How can you confirm that I don't get women because I'm trying to logically dismantle the statement that you said because of someone's attire?
Well,
examples.
But the fact of the matter is, Darwin, is that
we talked about when you couldn't feel like you couldn't beat out Sam Cassell, the damn near ugliest man on the planet.
Okay,
you
so
said
now
he
you
could get. No. This is what you said. You said
talking about the matter at hand. I'm talking about making a statement that somebody's wife is a whore because of her outfit.
Well, so Darwin,
I didn't just say the outfit. I said how she moves and operates. That also affects.
You need to rewind it back.
The way she talks, the way she moves, the way she carries herself. That gets me whore-like behavior.
Okay, what does she say?
Let me say this real quick. I think that we can all agree, especially if we're considering scripture in this, even outside of scripture, right? We all understand that everyone wears some type of uniform. So if you outside wearing the uniform of a Jezebel, then just so happen, people are going to consider or think that you are a Jezebel. If you're outside in the collar wearing that, then people are going to assume that you're a preacher, a pastor, whatever the case may be, right? So we all wear uniforms. So if you are a woman that's the first lady of a church, you're the wife of a pastor, and you're outside wearing what it is that she's wearing, as revealing as it was, arguably, especially, I grew up old school church. You couldn't go in church with no strapless top on, especially the first lady. You better throw a sash over that motherfucker or something. But just to be out, just with your titties out, your shoulders out, no, that was something that you couldn't do. So I think with us blurring the lines, because that's essentially what's happening, we're continuously blurring the lines of the world and church, in which of course is going to be a major problem, in which we continue to see
that don't make sense,
comes from that.
I'll tell you the problem that I have with it. You remember when James Harden?
That makes sense though.
I don't know. Trev want to go. I was going to address you, but go ahead, Trev. I'll just come back. I'll remember. Trust me. Go ahead, Trev.
All right. I was only going to say, all right, you remember when James Harden had a $200 million deal with Adidas, and then he got caught wearing Nikes? You can't do that. Bro got a covenant with God. He can't do that. You can't, your wife, y'all have an image. You can't do that. Even if you take it to the fact that you should consider other churches and way it makes the church look overall, and how it will deter people from even wanting to be part of that fellowship. These are the types of people with his antics and things like that make people no longer respect the church. These are the types of things that have ran men out of the church. This is why people don't believe in it in the first place. He should know better. He had to have thought when he was picking that out, that this is going to be some shit. So he was aiming for that. This is the type of dude that he is. This, to me, he just looks like the simp final boss at this point. Why on earth would you allow your woman to go outside like that? Flash colored, bro. That's wicked. The idea of that dress, regardless if it was a flash color dress or as a see-through dress, was for it to appear like she was naked underneath with no underwear. That's what the idea was. And regardless of if it was flesh colored or if it was her skin, when she walked by, a lot of dudes gonna pitch a tent. He is actually creating that lust that he is in turn preaching for people to control. That's crazy to me. And you're supposed to set an example, lead by example. And I don't think he's doing that well at all.
And Darwin, I wanted to challenge you on two things, Darwin. Two things. So first, the idea that so at least to me, in the way that I define whore, right? I don't care if I don't know a single man that you had sex with. I don't care. It's literally about how you present yourself and how you act. And I'm gonna say, oh, that's a whore, because we've all lived a long time and we know how to identify a whore. And then it's possible that you could be a woman who's a virgin, but you dress just like a whore. And to me, you're going, right? Maybe you didn't have the opportunity yet. Maybe you decided to be a whore today and moving forward, right? But if I see you and you dress like a whore, you're a whore to me. I don't need to, you know, like, oh no, let's give her the benefit of the doubt because we don't know her body count. Let's ask her, what's your body count? Oh, she said it's only one. We're good. No, I'm not with that. No, you dress like a whore, you're a whore. But
so what did you challenge?
I was challenging the idea that we need to know what she's been doing sexually to know if she's a whore. That's not how men identify whores.
No, that's what you made a subjective statement saying that this is how I define. You made a subjective premise that you redefine what a whore is. That's no prerogative. There's no argument. I was arguing on a general standpoint as an overall accepted definition amongst all men that the way somebody dress doesn't determine whether they're promiscuous or not. But if you saying that, in my opinion, in my perspective, this is how I change the definition. I can't argue if you want to change the definition. That's on you.
Got you. This is the real perspective that I wanted to challenge you on, right? The way that men identify whores, right? Because it seemed as if you were saying like we don't factually know what she's doing with her pussy and what she's ever done with her pussy. And if we don't, we can't call her a whore. Culturally, that's never been a thing. That's what I want to challenge you on. Men identify whores by characteristics, and we say, "Oh, she's a whore." We don't need even if my homie tell me he just hit a girl.
Well, we're not talking about characteristics.
I don't know if he did it.
We're talking about clothing.
Yeah, that's one of the markers.
Now you moved it to characteristic. That's a different ball.
Wouldn't it take a certain character to? Wouldn't it take a certain character to?
Go ahead, my bad.
Wouldn't it take a certain character to go ahead and put that dress on, understand how it's going to look, and then go ahead and do it anyway?
Exactly.
Would it take a certain character?
Yes.
I wouldn't. I don't know if we want to use. Would it take a certain character? We could say it takes a certain means of accepting the scrutiny that comes behind it. And if you're okay with the scrutiny that comes behind wearing that dress, then it's totally fine. But if you're not okay with it, that's when it becomes a problem.
It's clear that they're not.
I get it, but we're not arguing whether or not this couple accepted the scrutiny going out. The argument is whether or not that dress determines whether she's promiscuous or not.
Well, I think that's
because because Viz made a statement saying that it's blurred now. We know in this society right now, in a sexually liberated society, where hookers and women who are virgins, all the way from the virgin all the way to the hooker, wears the same type of outfit, the same hairstyle. So it only makes sense to say that it's even harder to detect whether she is promiscuous or not because everything is blurred.
No, it's not blurred. It's blurred. It's not blurred.
Versus back then, there was a uniform. There's not a uniform anymore. So
there is a uniform still.
What? There is a uniform. We have
there's definitely still a uniform.
There's a uniform.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. Okay, let me rephrase it.
I hear what you're saying.
Let's say it's 1940, and you see a woman with stilettos, and she got her dress all the way up to her ass cheek with a thong up her backside with barely no clothes on. In 1940, without a shadow of a doubt, maybe 10 times out of 10, that was a hooker on the street, right? But if you see a woman today in 2026 dressed close to that, you can't say the same thing because times have changed and people are now different and evolving. Okay, well, if I'm wrong, then I'll yield. If y'all don't get it.
So, Darwin, why couldn't if a woman is exposing herself in that manner, why is it that we can't expect that or assume that?
What?
that she's selling it.
Because you can walk up to her and ask her if she's selling it, and she'll take it as an insult.
What?
So wait, real quick.
Hold on. We all know.
Hold on, we gotta address it one step at a time, brothers. If you walk up to a woman today that's wearing a promiscuous attire,
let me finish.
You would take the chance of being insulting a woman and maybe getting slapped in the face for it.
Come on, man. It's men do it all the time, bro. We could easily use entertainers in this situation, right? Let's say there's a woman that's dressed the exact way that you just explained, and Sam Cassell walks up to her and say, "Man, how much is it?" Yeah, he might get slapped, but let LeBron James walk up to her and say that. She damn near gonna go. Let Future walk up to her and say it. She damn near gonna go.
You're not talking about whore. You're talking about selective preference. That's not the same as somebody is a whore. A whore is gonna be a whore for anybody, regardless of selective preference.
So Darwin,
come on, man.
So Darwin,
hold on, wait, real quick, because I haven't said anything real quick.
Because we got to understand, a whore is there for the money, not the genetic, not whether a man.
No, that's a prostitute. That's a prostitute.
Okay,
whore is somebody that's a woman.
Okay, so we got some defining.
We're talking about difference in prices at that point, but what we are collectively talking about is a normalization, and that is the big issue. And Jamal is helping to usher in a normalization by one, not checking that, by two, using the watch night service to go ahead and rile up all these other people that are just going to spread that same message. But going back to what Mont had brought up a long time ago, I just want to ask this quick question. Mont, you were talking about the gym. If there's a curvy woman in the gym that either has a man or is with her man, normally what will she do as far as her attire, even if she's wearing shorts?
Well, a long t-shirt.
Correct. She's going to do something in order to cover up. Most times what I will see is they will take a sweatshirt and tie it around their waist because they already know that other men are going to be looking. They're doing their due diligence to protect their man and their relationship. When you wear something that is flesh colored, it gives the insinuation. That's an insinuation that both of them wanted. He wanted that because he wanted other people to look at his woman. She wanted that because she wanted to be looked at. That's called ego.
We agree with that. We're not hung up on that. We're hung up on the part of calling somebody a whore because
no. That's just one part of the conversation.
But that's the conversation we was having. We wasn't hung up on what you mentioned.
I'm saying that's we went left with that and kept talking about that. But as far as Jamal is concerned, he tried to do a whole sermon here. And that sermon was to rile up one part and to shame another part, further dividing everything. But the only thing that really comes out of that is he riles up everybody in his congregation and gets more bread out of that. So really it's a big sellout situation, right? For his ego and for his pocketbook.
This is just another milestone of the church and religion as a whole, standards being fragmented and dismantled. It started with LGBT. The same people who are throwing stones at this man for having a wife wearing this, it's the same people who are championing homosexual marriage. So the audacity to even, I'm not even surprised at it. I think it's going to get worse the more society, worse the term, evolves. It's just so much shit in the church and religion is accepted. How can you even be shocked?
That's the problem, though.
Somebody in the pulpit has a wife with a dress like this when they're allowing same-sex marriage. And to M. White point, for hundreds of years they've been covering up child sex crimes. So, what this is doing is people look at Jamal Bryant as their hero. Oh, this is the next man. And when he exposes what people are truly doing in the church, being just like everybody else outside the church, they get mad because they want to protect the innocence, which is a facade. It's no innocence in there. All have sin and all do the same shit. Just because they rub some oil on your head, it does not make a difference. And that's what people are mad at.
Darwin, let me ask you a question.
Society hate the way God made them. Think they too dark, they bleach their skin.
Get plastic bags all stuffed in your hips. Plastic bags, old inner tubes, empty recycled box cartons, saving cereal boxes to get them shoved in the hips. That's right. And then when you walk, your whole hips is creaking, making crunchy noises.
To say, I am divorced because I cheated. I divorced because of my infidelity, not because of irreconcilable differences, but because I broke that covenant. And so I had to go through a healing process for myself on what is it that was in me that would go outside of the bounds of my covenant, my agreement, and to risk my family for somebody I never wanted to be with. Yeah. So I say to men all the time, one of the mistakes I made is my first attempt at monogamy was married.
Notice the woman was paying attention to me. I was like, maybe she a fan. So I just walked past her. You know, they say something, I don't be like, hi, I'm Tasha K. And I walked past her and she was following me as I walked. And Jamal walked up, Jamal Bryant, this was Pastor Jamal Bryant. And he has since confirmed that he was in Fort Lauderdale because he unblocked me after he blocked me right after I posted on Twitter where I had seen him in the hole at the Dr. BBL hole. Okay? As we walked, they was holding hands. And so you don't hold hands with your friends. This was late at night. This is your woman. And I have several sources that have confirmed with exclusive information that not only this is your woman, she has been your woman since 2017.
His girl is put before the congregation and she preaches with a BBL. We talking about the word. I'm not nobody who knows the Bible back and forth, but I know enough about the Bible to know that this is all foul behavior if you're preaching the Bible to people. You got a girl with a BBL speaking before the congregation. That's one thing. I've talked about this before. Then you have an interview with Cam Newton and you can't hold yourself. You say, you got some pretty legs. And next week, you speaking at a church where there are men, not one, not two, men walking around the church in high heels. Let me tell you something. If you at a church and there is a man in there with high heels, you might as well have gangbangers throwing up Crip signs, blood signs, and every other sign as the choir sings.
Real quick, Darwin, this is the second thing I said I wanted to challenge you on. What did you say about a man and his wife and how you stay out of that? You said something about that. What's your take on that?
So my take on that is, if, for example, if you decide that your wife can wear that, or but let's just say you bought a dress just like the pastor did, and that is what you want your wife to wear, that is what you approve of, that's what you're cool of, I don't get in the way of that. I got friends in my circle who do that. They dress a certain way, they smoke, they drink. I don't approve of some of the things that I wouldn't do, but I can't speak on it because that's that man's that's his wife.
Yeah. So what would you say your overall statement is on that? I understand your example too, by the way, but what would you say your
overall opinion on this whole thing?
Your position on not doing too much with a man and his wife. Like, what is your position on that?
My position, on the man, on the pastor and his wife.
On any man and his wife.
I'm a hands-off type of dude. I don't talk about a man and his wife.
Okay, because like when we Adam 22, right? Yeah. What is your position on Adam 22? And his wife?
Oh, so he
let his wife get her back beat in by Jason.
I don't have. It's not my fight. It don't make me sleep. It don't make me shit. That's
so
it.
Okay, so you don't have an opinion at all.
No, my opinion is that's a man that has an outcome, a desired outcome, and he went after it. Who am I to get in the way of that?
Not asking you to get in the way. We're just asking you. You can have an opinion.
I think it's foul, but that's how they move.
But that's your opinion. That's what he's asking you.
I wouldn't do it, but if they're okay with it, and it's totally fine with it. The only way it becomes a problem is if they don't want those videos, or they don't want that footage to get out, and they don't want the scrutiny to come behind it.
Yeah. And
that's
the reason
what becomes a problem. You can't go and do that and behave like that if you don't want everybody judging. Like that's why when Jamal Bryant said I wore this because I wanted y'all to have this reaction or whatever, I think he had an agenda behind it. I think he planned it out, and I think I didn't state it. I think somebody on the panel stated that he knew what the hell he was doing.
Yeah, and I agree.
When you know what the hell you're doing, when you have that plan, I think you're using your discernment to be able to make a decision on it like that, because you know what the ramifications that come behind it. I'm hands off when you do it like that. But when you if he would have got up there crying, I can't believe y'all did this to me, and bitching and complaining, I would have had a problem with it.
Yeah, and this is the reason that I'm asking you this question, because it seems like all of a sudden we throw out the social contract, we throw out man law, we throw out all of these things. Then the way that us as men communicate, like what respect is to men, it's really universal. And it seems like you are like, yo, it's not a thing, it's not real. There's no such thing as like, oh, his woman don't respect him, or the way that your woman presents herself will actually aid in how I respect you or don't respect you. We all know this as men. And it seemed like you just kind of are ignoring that or acting like it's not a real thing.
No, I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe that's a general thing, that if you want say, hey baby, I want you to wear this, I want you to wear this flesh color dress, I'm not gonna lower my respect for you. I'm not gonna look at you in a different way.
Yeah, it's interesting because I remember watching a video that you did on I don't even know her name. What's that lady? Miss Giving. It's Giving. That girl,
Sarah Fontaine.
Sarah Fontaine. I remember you doing that interview on her and her man in their first interview, and you went to town on that nigga.
Yeah, what did I say?
Pause.
Yeah, she just wore the same type of outfit to a party too.
What did I say? They're not married. This is a man that's about to get into a situation, and he was ignoring a bunch of red flags. That was an educational piece I did to let the audience see in real time how a man could be avoiding clear red flags before he's making a determination to marry a woman who's sending out signals that she's overly masculine. So if you watch the whole entire video, you can get to a whole bunch of those points.
Did you allude to her not respecting him?
Not have any respect for him?
Yeah, did you allude to that at all?
I may have. I can't recall. I have to go back. It's a while before I looked at that piece.
Okay. All right.